right, guys, so we got to talk about the left-wing extremists in this country that are actively trying to intimidate our sitting Supreme Court justices because of their decision to overturn Roe v. Wade that appears to be coming down the pipeline. Now, if you're listening to CNN, which nobody actually does, nobody watches CNN, but if you are unfortunately watching CNN, you would think that it's not left-wing extremists that are doing this, okay? No, it's actually right-wing extremists that are upset about Roe v. Wade potentially being overturned.
Officials are preparing for potential violence in the Capitol and nationwide after the leak of that Supreme Court draft opinion that would strike down Roe v. Wade after 50 years. Capitol Police are warning the far right is calling for violence against a religious group planning to rally for abortion rights. Whitney Wild is live outside the Supreme Court. Listen, seeing fences go up there, it's sort of like post-January 6th.
Yeah, so as you see there, that is CNN gaslighting America into believing that right-wing extremists are the ones that are so upset about this, while at the same time showing imagery of nothing but left-wing protests, right? That's how stupid they think the average American is, okay? That's how stupid they think, y'all. They will show you imagery of left-wing protesters protesting over Roe v. Wade being overturned and say, no, it's the right-wing extremists you need to be worried about, though, right? Not those guys. Just like they showed the imagery of cities being burned during a BLM protest, but said, hey, this is fiery but peaceful, right? This is par for the course when it comes to CNN. But again, I find it fascinating how CNN pretends that the left-wing extremists are nothing to worry about in this country, right? Those people haven't proven to be violent, okay, or anything like that. Those guys won't try to dox Supreme Court justices, right? Those guys won't show up to the doorstep, the homes of the Supreme Court justices to protest and to intimidate them into potentially changing their decision, except that's exactly what they're doing. As the conservative Supreme Court justices were doxxed by a left-wing group called Ruth Sent Us, and lo and behold, the left-wing extremists actually showed up to the homes of John Roberts and Brett Kavanaugh to protest and intimidate them into changing their decision. Take a look.
My choice!
Rain did not stop dozens of pro-choice protesters from taking to the quiet streets of Chevy Chase, Maryland, to make one thing clear.
You don't get to take away my bodily autonomy and enjoy your Saturday night at home. You can do one or the other.
First stop, Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home, where they were greeted by Montgomery County police officers. Then they headed over to Chief Justice John Roberts' residence with a similar message.
Hands off our bodies! Hands off our bodies! Hands off our...
But since the draft opinion indicating the Supreme Court is poised to overturn Roe v. Wade was leaked, the crowd keeps growing.
If you take away our choices, we will riot.
Organizers say that some residents have called their protests disrespectful because they're bringing politics into their neighborhood. But Emily, who lives in the community, says that the stakes are too high when the constitutional right to abortion is on the line.
Such a high stakes situation that if, it's a little bit noisy in the neighborhood, in comparison to what women in this country are facing, it's really not a big deal.
Protests will continue throughout the upcoming week. The next one is scheduled in front of Justice Alito's house. Now, in this Chevy Chase neighborhood, it will be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Rafael Sanchez Cruz, WUSA 9.
Yeah, so you gotta love how the local news seems to be in cahoots with these protesters as they are announcing when the next protest will be, right? And where it will be as well. Okay, as if, they want people to know about the location and the time of the next protest so they can show up. I just found that to be fascinating, right? And also what I found to be fascinating in this video was the protesters, or one of the protesters saying, hey, if we don't get what we want, then we're going to riot. AKA, we're going to commit acts of violence because the Supreme Court is doing something that we don't want. And this is something that got so bad, guys, that allegedly Justice Samuel Alito has been moved to an undisclosed location because they're supposed to show up to his crib next, right? Not only that, but also on this Sunday, on Mother's Day, these protests are also showing up to Catholic churches around the country to protest as well.
I would do it again. I would.
Yeah.
I left feeling like, I could do this again.
Yeah.
Who's up for a church protest May 8th to 14th?
For 2,000 years, the Catholic Church has been an institution
Constitution for the enslavement of women.
Now, consider how Joe Biden claims to be Catholic, okay, and the Democrats claim to care about democracy and our institutions so much, you would think that the White House would have condemned these protests that obviously are trying to intimidate these judges. However, that wasn't the case.
These activists posted a map with the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Is that the kind of thing this president wants to help your side make their point?
Look, I think the president's view is that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness from many, many people across this country about what they saw in that leaked document. We obviously want people's privacy to be respected. We want people to protest peacefully if they want to protest. That is certainly what the president's view would be.
So he doesn't care if they're protesting outside the Supreme Court or outside someone's private residence?
I don't have an official U.S. government position on where people protest. We want it, of course, to be peaceful.
You guys spent some time yesterday talking about what you think are the extreme wings of the Republican Party. Do you think the progressive activists that are now planning protests outside some of the justices' houses are extreme?
Peaceful protest? No. Peaceful protest is not extreme.
Some of these justices have young kids. Their neighbors are not all public figures. So would the president think about waving off activists that want to go into residential neighborhoods in Virginia and Maryland?
Peter, look, I think our view here is that peaceful protest, there's a long history in the United States and the country of that. And we certainly encourage people to keep it peaceful and not resort to any level of violence.
Jen Psaki claims that she doesn't have an official U.S. government position on where people protest. And I'm like, except we actually do, right? We actually do. It's actually in the law, right? It's in U.S. Code, annotated Title 18, Crimes and Criminal Procedure, 1507, picketed and paraded. It says, quote, whoever with the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice, or with the intent of influencing any judge, juror, witness, or court officer in the discharge of his duty, pickets or parades in or near a building housing a court of the United States, or in or near a building or residence occupied or used by such judge, juror, witness, or court officer, or with such intent it uses any sound, truck, or similar device, or resorts to any other demonstration in or near any building or residence shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 1 year or both. Nothing in this section shall interfere with or prevent the exercise of any court of the United States of its power to punish for contempt. Okay, so in my opinion, it seems like this is clearly illegal, right? This is clearly a violation of the law, right? But Jen Psaki says U.S. government has no official position on that, right? And I guarantee you, she wouldn't be saying this if right-wingers were protesting outside of Joe Biden's home, her home, or the homes of the liberal Supreme Court justices, right? So basically, the Biden administration is endorsing the intimidation of United States Supreme Court justices, guys. The Democrat Party is endorsing the intimidation of United States Supreme Court justices, guys. I want y'all to understand that. These are the same people who want to lecture America about democracy and January 6th and civility and decorum. But when it comes to their extremists, they never have a damn thing to say about their people and what they do, because they have been the biggest threat to democracy in this country. They have committed acts of violence going on for years now. They don't care about our institutions. They don't care about justice. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care. But Democrats will never, ever, ever call it out for what it is. But then they turn around and they want to lecture America. They want to lecture Republicans on, why you guys not saying enough about January 6th? Why you not saying anything about it? Well, again, we just witnessed right before January 6th a summer of peaceful protest, right? AKA riots from BLM and Antifa, and the Democrat Party turned their head and pretended like it didn't exist. Nothing to see here. And here they are doing it again. Again, do you guys think that this would be the response if right-wingers were protesting at the homes of liberal Supreme Court justices? I don't think this would be the response. They would say this is a continuation of January 6th. This is an attack on democracy. These people are trying to undermine the sovereignty and integrity of the court. They're trying to intimidate these Supreme Court justices. That's exactly what they would be saying. But because it's left-wing extremists doing it, they have nothing to say. But again, they want to lecture everybody else on calling out extremism on their own side of the aisle when they won't do it on theirs. Again, it's amazing how the Democrat Party operates. It really is. And the mainstream liberal media, they're complicit as well too, because they support this type of stuff. Y'all remember, what was it, MSNBC or NBC, one of those news networks, they allegedly had a reporter following the Rittenhouse jury bus, okay, and he got caught by police doing that, stalking them, because it seemed to me that that reporter for MSNBC, working for the mainstream liberal media, was trying to figure out more information about these jurors so that they can be doxxed, okay, and potentially harassed. So left-wing extremists like these people could show up to their doorsteps to try to influence them, okay, in regards to the outcome of that trial. Yeah, so the left is no stranger to this. They don't play by the rules. They don't care. They do not care, right? But I'm going to end this video on this note. I want y'all to think about this. We live in a country, guys, where if you are a concerned parent and you go to a school board meeting to express your concerns about what's going on in schools and your child's education, you could be labeled a domestic terrorist by the FBI. The FBI immediately acted on that. However, if you're a left-wing extremist, okay, and you decide to show up to the doorstep of a Supreme Court justice in order to intimidate them on changing their decision involving a very important court case, nobody says anything. Nobody bats an eye. You're not going to be on the FBI's watch list. Nobody's going to call you a domestic extremist or domestic terrorist, right? But again, if you're a parent and you're concerned about your child's education, domestic terrorist. But if you're a left-wing extremist and you intimidate a Supreme Court justice over opinions that you don't like, you're just passionate, right? You're just passionate about issues, okay? You're standing up for women's rights. Guys, we live in a country that is ass backwards. We really do. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.